Hello, welcome to Mad Dodge Productions. I am the Mad Libertarian. What you're about ready to watch is a mirror from Mr. Dapperton's channel. He recently said anybody can mirror any video he put out for free. And this one's a doozy. So some idiots think it's a good idea to write a script for children that includes lots of horrible language and shitty facts. So I hope you guys enjoy. I'm going to try and put out another video later tonight. Goodbye.
Hey y'all, the Confederate flag is a symbol of proud heritage. The good old days.
That is a racist freaking character that they invented. The left claim to be not racist, but they're the most racist of all. And they have the balls to call everybody else racist. It's freaking hypocritical and it's pathetic. If I made a character that was just as racist as this redneck character, but it was a black person instead of a redneck, the left would flip the fuck out. For example, imagine I made a black character, instead of wearing a Confederate flag hat, like a redneck, he wore a fried chicken hat. And instead of loving the Confederacy, he loves watermelon. There would be articles about it. It would be kicked off of YouTube. You would be considered the most racist thing that has ever been made. But when the left wing make fun of white people and call them all rednecks and make fun of rednecks, it's the most virtuous and non-racist thing ever. When in reality, it's racist as hell. It's just as racist as me making a black person that likes fried chicken and watermelon.
Good old days? Slavery. 5 fucked up facts about that fucked up flag.
Man, these left-wingers are totally exploiting these kids. Encouraging them to cuss like that is disgusting. And left-wingers pretend that guns are responsible for people turning into killers. Like guns somehow possess the mind and turn a would-be law-abiding citizen into a killer overnight, just because they own the gun now. That's not how guns work. What creates a killer is somebody that doesn't value life, somebody that wasn't raised correctly. Somebody that wasn't brought up with manners and taught to respect others. Like the kids that you're raising now, you left-wingers. You're responsible for this shit. Raise your kids. Discourage bad behavior like that. Don't encourage it.
But the reality is it's not a gun problem. It's not having too many guns. There used to be more guns per person in America than there are now, but children did not go to school and kill other children. When I was a kid, especially after Christmas, people brought their guns to school. My friends, we'd get a new shotgun, get a 22 or something, you'd come to school and show it to your friends. It was supposed to stay outside in your truck, which may or may not have been locked. But kids would bring them on the buses. Sometimes they would be in kids' lockers. Nobody even thought about shooting other people with them. So it's not a gun problem. What I would say to those for whom that is the solution, get a new idea. Because that is not the solution. It is a cultural problem.
The point is, those kids lack respect because of lack of parenting. The lack of respect for human life is what creates killers. And are these kids taught to respect people? Obviously not. So obviously they're more likely to be a killer when they grow up. Don't encourage bad behavior. Instead, teach your kids what's right and what's wrong. And that will greatly reduce the amount of killers that we have in today's society. It won't prevent them all, but it will help a lot.
Kids! We're America's bright future, and we're kind of fed up with this whitewashing of America's dark past.
Whitewashing of America's dark past? I don't know what you're talking about, because every time I get on the internet, I'm reminded of slavery at least 5 times a day. And all our kids, and us included, all white people are taught that white people are bad, just by default, because of what our ancestors did. Nothing that we did wrong. No. Because our ancestors did something wrong, we're guilty, and we're automatically pieces of crap. Basically, the left wing are racist, and they're shaming white people now. And they do it under the guise of fighting racism. Isn't that funny?
We're not so down with this flag being up. If we're having this much trouble getting rid of a symbol of racism, we are in deep shit. Getting rid of real racism.
The Confederate flag ain't racist.
Fucked up fact number 1. In 1861, the vice president of the Confederacy said the Confederate government is based on, quote, the great truth that the Negro is not equal to the white man.
See, that's called guilty by association. You're stating that everybody that raises up that flag and everybody that was part of the Confederacy was racist based off the fact that there was one person in the Confederacy that was.
Bitch, please. Yeah, that's not racist.
It's a powerful emblem of pride.
Powerful? Oh, haha! You mean white power.
No, it doesn't stand for white power. It stands for Southern pride. That's why people raise that flag. Yes, some people use it for a racist purpose, but that doesn't mean it's everybody. Please stop with this guilty by association crap. Just because there's a vocal minority that may be racist doesn't mean that everybody who uses that flag is a racist. It just doesn't work that way. Apparently, that flag has a lot of different meanings to a lot of different people. They don't all raise it for the same reason, and so don't pretend that they do.
With the racist Nazi swastika being banned in most of Europe, skinheads use the Confederate flag in its place.
Winky dink. When Nazis use something as a racist symbol,
It's got to be a pretty fucking racist symbol.
Nazis drive cars. That means if you drive cars, you're racist too.
Now you wait, it don't mean none of that white supremacy.
Really? In 1863, an earlier version of the flag had a white background, which the designer said
represented, and I quote, the supremacy of the white man. Designed by a dick. Yeah, I'm not OKKK with that shit.
You know what's funny? They're making kids cuss, but that's almost worse than racism itself, isn't it? I mean, what is racism? Disliking a person because of a race. I get that that's really rude, but it's not the worst thing in the world, okay? I get that it's distasteful and only scum do it. But my point is, it's not as bad as children disrespecting adults and cursing at them.
It's about our historical legacy.
Yeah. No.
Yes, and you're trying to erase that history. It's BS.
The Confederate flag was only just added to some southern state flags in the 1950s and 1960s as a way to show resistance to racial desegregation, school integration, and civil rights movements.
celebrating the ugliness of the Civil War to oppose civil rights.
It's just, but, come on, well,
Okay, you tell me which flag is more racist and against civil rights. Confederacy had slavery for 4 years. The United States of America had slavery for 89 years. Tell me which one's more racist. Not to mention the United States of America had Trail of Tears, tortures enemies, wars of aggression, 12 of its presidents owned slaves, killed over 500,000 Iraq children, police kill over 1,000 citizens each year, killed over 100,000 civilians with nuclear weapons, interred Japanese Americans in concentration camps. If you want to ban the Confederate flag because it represents racism, murder, and oppression, then be logically consistent and ban the United States of America flag too.
A racist man who murdered 9 black people in a church.
Stood with this flag in a photo celebrating the racism it stood for.
Here's a fact. Most races have had Taco Bell. Guess what? You've had Taco Bell too, you freaking racist. Guilty by association is a logical fallacy. Stop using it.
Yeah, flying this fucking flag is not flying with us. Sorry for using some bad language to make a good point.
But this flag is a symbol for the N-word.
The flag is a symbol for the N-word? What? God, I knew you left-wingers were simple-minded, but Jesus! That is the most simplest, that is the dumbest thing I've probably ever heard. Thank you for watching. If you really like this video, be sure to subscribe. Also, smash that like button and the bell button. If you really want to support the channel, then become a patron on Patreon. Even if you just donate $1 a month, it helps tremendously. Thanks for watching.